Hi everyone, I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to tell you about a book that I read that's coming out in February. This is Manhunt by Gretchen Felker-Martin. I got this as an ARC from NetGalley and I read it at the very end of 2021. I think it was my last book that I finished, and boy, was it a wild ride. In this world, something called the T virus happened. And with this virus, people who make enough testosterone in their bodies, so cis men, cis women who maybe produce too much testosterone due to medical conditions, also trans women, and also, non-binary folks who were assigned male at birth. Basically, it could be anyone. It just really depends on your biology. But this virus turns these folks into beasts, terrible misshapen beasts, deformed beasts that have some really crazy stuff going on with their bodies. And I don't want to get too much into that because I think that it's just so great the way that the author describes it, and if you want to know more you should definitely read this. But in this book we mostly follow two trans women, Beth and Fran, and they are working as manhunters right now. So they are people who hunt down these feral creatures and harvest their testicles and these lobes from their kidneys that then scientists use to make estrogen. And this helps people from becoming these beasts. And that's something that Fran and Beth specifically really need because they're trans women. They've been friends since before this event happened, so they have a long history and a sort of complex, complicated relationship with each other, and they're just really such rich, endearing, but also flawed characters. They're so much fun to keep up with. I really felt like by the end of the book I knew them, which is really great, and you meet the people that they have to interact with, and it's just such a great network of people in this book, and also great villains, because working sort of against trans women and trans men and non-binary folks and anyone who wants to protect trans folks in this book are TERFs. So these are women who want to act like trans women are not women because they do have the potential to turn if they don't have a steady supply of estrogen, which is unfortunately something that really could possibly happen. And so instead of making sure that people have access to estrogen, they decide that they're just going to kill anyone who could potentially turn. And so there is this great war going on. So that is the big conflict in this book. And we get some perspective from, the women who are also on that side of things, which makes it a more compelling story, I think, because you see how these people work and you see how maybe some of them are a little conflicted or have their own biases, and it's just a really interesting look. This one is probably not for everyone. There is some smut in it, which I don't mind. I thought it was well written. It's not like some books that I've read where everything's got weird names, like he put the sword into its hilt. It's not cringy sex, it's good sex. And there is a lot of body horror and a lot of gore and a lot of violence. I mean, there is basically a war going on. So not for everyone. Content warnings for that sort of stuff if that bothers you. Also content warning for sexual assaults because there is that in this book. But I think if those things aren't something that bother you, you should definitely pick this up. It is just a really great queer-centric book with queer characters who are flawed but lovable. Very complicated, they're real humans, you know what I mean? They read like they're real people. And by the end of the book, I wanted to cry, and it was just a really fantastically written, intriguing book where it's like, I don't know, I feel like it starts out as something and really turns into something else. And I loved the characters in this book, and I thought the plot was so interesting, and this virus is very interesting, and man, it does take some dark turns and things. It's just like, I wasn't expecting this. It's like a crazy mashup of like, I don't know. It's like, you know, where the Walking Dead has gone since its humble beginnings, if you watch that series. And I don't think like it's necessarily a really great show anymore, but I do think that Manhunt was a really great book, even though it, the things that happened by the end were surprising, but in a good way. And I don't know. I mean, that's all I have to tell you about it, I guess. Pick up Manhunt. It comes out February 22nd. It is a Tor book, and yeah, I mean, it was just a really interesting read. That's all I have for you. I will leave a link in my description if you'd like to buy it from my bookshop.org affiliate link. That will help indie bookstores. It will help my channel, and it, you know, gives you a convenient way to buy it, and a way where you're not necessarily supporting an awful company like Amazon. No judgment though, of course. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I'd love to know if you've read Manhunt or if I have convinced you to pick it up. It is a book that will help round out your horror reading, I think. Just exceptional characters, especially. I think that's the thing that really is going to stick with me, is the characters in this book. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to pick up Manhunt by Gretchen Felker-Martin. I will see you later. Goodbye.